time to get up with Big Ben. He's back and better than ever are the Steelers. With that defense, a legit contender in the AFC. Meanwhile, they're one game in, and Tampa Tom's new coach seems to have issues with his quarterback. Could this thing be in trouble just as it gets beginning? And don't miss Vince Carter on Game 7 and on his favorite dunks of all time. He'll be with us as we get up with you, starting right now. Delighted to be back and to have you with us from the South Street Seaport. Greeny here. Dan Graziano is with me, and we have a cast that is ready to go. We're talking football today with the big swagoo. Greg McElroy, Jeff Saturday, ready to go with Week 1 officially in the books after the Monday night doubleheader last night. Let's go there. Steelers, Giants. First Monday night game of the season is our game of the night. Steelers holding a sign that read Steelers against racism during the national anthem, while several Giants players took a knee with their new head coach, Joe Judge, alongside. To the action, Daniel Jones at quarterback, the first Giant quarterback other than Eli to start a season since 2004. Second quarter, he's back to throw. He's looking. He's finding Darius Slayton, 41 yards and a score. Giants, an early 10-3 lead. Danny Dimes, 279 and 2 touchdowns on the night. Meanwhile, Big Ben Roethlisberger took a little time to get started. His first game since week 2 of last year. But Dan, he warms up. Vintage Ben off his back foot. Juju Smith-Schuster. 6 targets, 6 catches for him. Big Ben's first touchdown since 2018. Steelers missed the extra point. They're down 10-9. Final 40 seconds of the half. It's Ben. It's Juju. It's 17 yards and they're on the move. Just over 20 seconds to go. It's Big Ben again. Now he's 38 years old. He's coming off the elbow. He's not going to run with it. He's not going to run with it. Oh, he's going to run with it. Vintage Big Ben, 11 yards, and he gets up calling the timeout. Steelers in the red zone. Big Ben had more yards rushing in this game than Saquon Barkley. Next play, Roethlisberger, James Washington. Look at him fight. Will not go down. Into the end zone he goes. Roethlisberger, 21 of 32 for 229 on the night, getting help from his receiver there. Steelers, a 16-10 lead at the half. Early third. I mentioned Saquon Barkley. Oh, the Steeler defense. All over him. 15 carries for 6 yards for Saquon Barkley. What a night for the Pittsburgh defense. Meanwhile, in that same drive, Danny Jones, he's got his team working. He's got his team moving. 18 plays were good. Here's the 19th play of the drive. Oh, my goodness. He throws up a fair catch to Cameron Hayward. A critical turnover in the final 9 minutes. 5:30 left in the game now. Steelers up 19-10, looking to put it away. Ball's at the 8. It's Ben. Again, it's Juju. Again. Second touchdown of the night for Juju Smith-Schuster. Big Ben was finished with 3 touchdowns on the night, and the Steelers, behind a rugged defense and the return of their quarterback, are 1-0. Big Ben, let's talk.
Yeah, there obviously were a little bit of jitters. I was excited, nervous to be out there. Just wanted to not let my guys down. You know, that was the biggest thing. And I'm going to be sore tomorrow. There's no doubt. I got some bumps and bruises, but in terms of elbow and everything else, I feel really good right now.
And the numbers are good. Again, Roethlisberger, 229, 3 touchdowns, no picks. It's his 50th career 3 passing touchdown game. He is the 8th player in history to have that many. And so let's get right to the action here, and I'm going to go right to Roethlisberger before we go anywhere else. And Greg McElroy, you put together a little tape on what you saw from the Steelers quarterback in his return.
Now, Green, he might not be able to evade would-be tacklers like he once did, but this is year 17 for Ben Roethlisberger. His coverage recognition and savvy still remains very elite. Let's go to some of these plays from the other night. It really was. You look at the way the Giants disguised coverage. 2 high safeties initially, but you see that backside safety drop into the box? That's difficult for a lot of quarterbacks to see. He recognized the man coverage, gets Ebron working away against the undersized defender. Really big play. I love this, though. Cover 0, understanding that he will not have enough blockers in the protection to handle all the rushers from the Giants. What does he do? He drifts away. He buys time. He puts a lot of air under it to allow Juju to run under it. It's beautifully done. Similar coverage to what we saw just a second ago, where that backside safety drifts in. He sees it, no problem to get a 2-minute drill started. He also recognizes where the cornerback is in phase with his wide receiver, and he throws the perfectly executed back shoulder. Look, he's not going to be able to shake guys like he did 10 years ago. He's not going to be as strong or as nimble in the pocket. But his coverage recognition and understanding of where to go with the football within the offense still remains elite. That's why I thought last night, after the early game jitters, was very encouraging.
Jeff Saturday, what did you see from Big Ben last night?
Yeah, I thought he was nervous, Ben, to Greg's point. He was nervous, Ben, early, right? He talked about how he had never had these type of butterflies leading into a week, and it showed early. You know, his eyes dropped down when he was getting pass rush. He kind of, pulled back on some throws. Wasn't until that third down to Ebron that you see right there. That's when I felt like he really found his rhythm and got into rhythm. And you saw the smile start coming back out. Even after that run where he comes up and calls a timeout, you saw him to begin to enjoy the game again and really feel the flow of the game. And it went all the way through that Steelers offense to the run game with Benny Snell. When you have a guy who can take advantage of those blitz packages like Greg showed you, it opens up the entire offense. He had a very good day coming back from that injury.
Yeah, Benny Snell ran the ball for 113 yards, but that's enough on the Pittsburgh offense. Marcus Spears, what can we say about a defense that holds Saquon Barkley, who I think pretty much everyone thinks is as good a runner as there is in the National Football League, to 5 yards on 16 carries?
Yeah, let's get this out the way. I'm calling you G today, and I'm calling Greg McElroy Mac. All right?
Okay.
So here we go. G, listen, it's old school defense, man. And when I say old school, you know, a lot of guys, they are so physical at the point of attack. They create negative plays. It does not matter who you have offensively. They're going to take it away. I got to compliment their defense coordinator, Keith Butler. He made one point. He said Saquon Barkley will not win this game for the New York Giants. They created penetration at the line of scrimmage, and obviously Watt and Bud Dupree and Cam Hayward, all of those guys had really good games. But when you look at defenses play like this, and there's going to be this ongoing question of, can this defense carry them? Yes. If Ben Roethlisberger and this team can put up 20-something odd points, high 20s, 30 points, it's going to be extremely hard for teams to beat them with this defense who is creating negative. They created 12 negative plays last night. Saquon Barkley had 29 yards on 20 carries. Again, Saquon Barkley had 29 yards rushing last night. That's a defense that can carry you to a championship, and they used to that in Pittsburgh.
No question about it. They were brilliant last night. And so, again, the Steelers may be joining Kansas City and Baltimore in the conversation about the AFC's elite. We'll talk about that in a moment. Meanwhile, Dan Graziano, let's talk about the New York Football Giants. It's a team you've covered for a long time, and you see them. What do you think is the number one storyline coming out of last night for them?
Well, it's Daniel Jones. I mean, look, if you look at the Giants in 2020, it's hard to see them as a contender. Obviously, there's always surprises. But, I mean, they have a lot of pieces missing on defense. Obviously, they need to keep building that. So this season's about how do you feel about Daniel Jones once it's over?
From Danny Dimes last night.
No, it's week one, guys, but I'm going to make a guarantee, a real bold guarantee, frankly. Daniel Jones's performance last night will not be the worst performance against the Steelers defense this year. Like, there will be much worse quarterback performances. So I look at this, and I really think, look, with a young player, it's all about peaks and valleys, right? There were a couple valleys. The 19-play drive, we know that interception, bad decision, trying to roll this up, trying to do too much. But I tell you what, outside of that, there were a lot of things to grow from, a lot of things to be encouraged by last year. I mean, goodness gracious, the guy had 7 fumbles a game, it feels like. Well, yesterday, 2 hands in the pocket. There were multiple times in which the ball could have gotten knocked out, and it didn't. So I thought the peaks actually outweighed the valleys a little bit, with the exception of the end of that 19-play drive. So I was very encouraged with the growth he displayed at the position.
Again, on a night where his running back, who you figure will carry that offense all year long, did not have anything going at all. Okay, guys, stay with me, because the second game last night came down to some very curious decision-making by one of the two coaches. Titans, Broncos, several players choosing to stand, others kneeling, clearly showing support in the pregame. We pick it up now in the fourth quarter. Mike Vrabel and the Titans going for it on a 4th down instead of sending Stephen Gostkowski out for a field goal attempt because Gostkowski had a miserable night. And Tannehill throws a big touchdown there to give the Titans a 13-7 lead. And Gostkowski missing the extra point, his 4th missed kick of the night. To that point, he was 0 for 3 on field goals and 1 for 2 on extra points. On the other side, Broncos, 75-yard drive. Melvin Gordon takes it in. He had 78 yards in his Denver debut. Broncos a 14-13 lead. So, 2 minutes left. Titans looking to win it. 1st and 10 at their own 38. Tannehill, A.J. Brown. Now we're working. Gostkowski hoping for a chance at redemption. Later in the drive, clock running at $1:33 to go on a 2nd down. It's Derrick Henry. He had 31 carries, 116 yards, but look at the clock. Running. Vic Fangio does not take a timeout. At no point in this drive takes a timeout. He allows them to run the clock down to practically nothing and let Gostkowski come out for what is essentially a chip shot. Redemption, thy name is Gostkowski. He makes it 1 for 4 on field goals on the night, but that one wins it for his former teammate, who's now his coach, Mike Vrabel.
Mike, did you have any worries after the night that Gostkowski had about sending him out there for that final kick?
Nope, and they did, obviously, because they weren't using their timeouts.
One, their field goal kicker had obviously been having his problems, so I didn't want to extend the drive to where they could get closer. And number 2, we would have used the timeout, but we got the running back out of bounds. We would have used the 2nd timeout, but they threw an incompletion, which would have given us 1 left when we got the ball back. So that was part of the thinking there.
No, not okay. I'm sorry. If you saw it last night, Vic Fangio completely mismanaged the end of that game, and it may very well have cost his team significantly. Jeff, what did you see?
Yeah, it absolutely cost his football team. I mean, you just said it, right? At a minute 30, that's when you have to start using your timeouts. I don't care if Gostkowski missed, 20 kicks. If you get the ball down there, you're eating up clock. If you trade field goals, you win the game. Like, there is nothing in this that would tell you don't use your timeouts, don't give your offense a chance. You know in Denver you can kick a 60-yard field goal and it actually be competitive and a chance to make it. Why wouldn't you give your offense a chance to come back and kick a field goal to win the game? This wasn't trade for tie. This was trade for win. Why they didn't use their timeouts makes absolutely no sense. You're betting on a guy who's probably going to go in the Hall of Fame for thinking to miss a 5th kick, whatever the thought process is. Really bad, really poor decision-making from Fangio and the Broncos coaching staff at that point.
And if he misses it, you're going to win anyway. It doesn't make any difference how much time is left
Absolutely.
on the clock at that point. Let me ask you a question, because his players know what you and I are talking about. When your coach makes a mistake of that magnitude, tell me what it's like in that locker room, what the players want to hear from him when they come back into work today or tomorrow.
Yeah, just own it. Hey, I should, looking back, I should have called it. A minute 30 after they got the 1st down, I should have started using our timeouts, give ourselves an opportunity. I didn't give us the best opportunity to win. That's all you need to hear, right? Every player has done the same thing. We've all made bonehead decisions. We've all made bad plays. We understand, we're human. But at the end of the day, you want to hear your coach own it, for sure.
I hope so. I hope that he does. I hope he doesn't continue to try and explain the way they used their timeouts last night, because candidly, it was inexplicable. All right, we'll take a break. We're just getting started. That was just last night's action. We have so much to get to. He's the best running quarterback we've seen in the NFL in years. So why was Lamar Jackson staying put this weekend?